Okay, everyone, good morning, good afternoon. Today we have a very special lecture done by the Dr. Hun Soo Juan from South Korea. So let me read first. Let me read his profile first. He is a Korean and psychiatric and Buddhist psychotherapist, and he has a doctorate degree. He has been a director of Dr. Jian's Psychiatry Clinic since 1990. He was introduced to Buddhist teachings 2 years after becoming a neuropsychiatry resident. After that, he met with patients, studied Buddhism concurrently, using Buddhist wisdom to aid him in treating his patients in Korea. In 2003, he took a month off from his clinic to go to Myanmar, Burma, to practice Satipatthana meditation. Later that year, he gathered specialists in Buddhism, psychology, and psychiatry to study together and hold discussions. This gathering developed into the Korean Association of Buddhist Psychotherapy in 2007. He has been a member of steering committee of the Korean Association of Buddhist Psychotherapy since 2007. In March 2009, he took a year off from therapy to practice Buddhism. He traveled and wrote a book. In March 2010, he reopened his clinic and returned to helping patients. He also spent 2 years practicing samatha and vipassana meditation in Pa Meditation Center in Myanmar and in Korea. He has authored the following books in Korea and English, in Korean language and in English. Then Cry When You Want to Cry. Psychiatrist's Wisdom from the Buddha, Stories of Healing the Mind, a psychiatrist's guidebook for the mind, 32 lectures on early Buddhism given by a psychiatric, Samatha, Jhana, and Vipassana in English, and lectures on Buddhist psychotherapy, and collaborated in writing.
보여주세요.
Okay, so he collaborated in writing Buddha's lesson on emotions, as well as training Mark Epstein's book, Thoughts Without a Thinker, in Korean language. He was awarded Grand Prize of Wonku Scholarship from Korean Buddhist Institute in 2018. He presented No Self-Based Psychotherapy in 63rd annual meeting of the American Academy of Psychodynamic Psychiatry and Psychoanalysis in May 2019. He presented the experience of mindfulness meditation and its psychotherapeutic implications in SEPI, Society for Exploration of Psychotherapy Integration annual meeting in 2006. So this is the background of Dr. Jian, and I have met with Dr. Jian in Seoul when I visited South Korea last year, and I invited him to give a special lecture today. So thank you very much for all your participation today, and we'll listen to his lecture right now. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Jion. The floor is yours now. Thank you.
Thank you, Saleh Panyateri, for your kind and detailed introduction of me. I'm honored to be invited by prestigious San State Buddhist University. And also, I am very pleased to share my experiences of my Buddhist meditation and Buddhist psychotherapy establish it based on my experience of psychotherapy and Buddhist meditation. Yeah, just a moment. Yeah, I want to start by sharing how I met Buddhism and how I established Buddhist psychotherapy. Because I'm not good at English, and also most of people here are not native speakers. So I try to my wording on PPT. It will be comfortable and convenient for us.
예전 산다면 돈 걱정 없이
My encounter with Buddhism and the journey to Buddhist psychotherapy began with meeting my first Buddhist teacher in 1985 at my age of 30. He was in his early 50s, and he was the professor in Buddhist department of Buddhist organization run university, Dongguk University in Seoul. I met him by chance. When I met him, he asked me what I do for a living, which means what is my occupation. I answered, I'm the second residency doctor majoring in psychiatry. Upon hearing my answer, he said, Buddhism is the perfect system for resolving the suffering of human beings. And wouldn't the psychiatry that you are studying right now ultimately be resolving people's mental illnesses? In my opinion, if we just change the terms of Buddhism into a system of treating mental illnesses, it will become an excellent psychiatric system. When I heard what he said, I was so amazed with his saying. I thought he must be an incredible person. So I have to learn more from him. So I became his student not long after I met him. 2 months later, after I became his student, he delivered the Dhamma talk about doctrine of karma, which means how the world is formed and how the world works. He said like this: the world is divided into two categories, those with life and those without life. Those without life are governed by natural or physical law. Those with life consist of me and others. The most important thing in the world is me. Between me and those without life, it operates according to physical law. Between me and others, if I do something that benefits both me and others, I will receive a smooth result. If I do something that benefits me but not others, I will receive a difficult result. It is suffering. This is the principle by which the world operates. All things is operated by the law. Although the world operates according to principles, if we do not know this and engage in greed based on ignorance, we will not achieve our desires. In such cases, we should return to the principles by which the world operates. But instead of doing so, we become angry. And then, due to another wrong thought, ignorance, we generate greed, which once again lead to frustration. We must break this vicious cycle. When I heard his teachings, I felt my eye for the world opened up, and I thought Buddhism is truth. I will study Buddhism until I will die. My karmic connection with him was so long. It just lasted for 3 years. Because he taught quite different from ordinary teaching, Buddhist teachings. So I couldn't continue to study Buddhism. So I had to stop there. The Buddhist psychotherapy has two major parts. One is psychotherapy. The other is Buddhism. So I spent 12 years and I dedicated 12 years to psychotherapy learning and practice. Every psychotherapy school has nearly the same system. Training analysis, supervision, and seminar attending. Seminar attending including case presentation. Among three, training analysis is the most important part, in a sense, a cornerstone of training. We get treatment as a patient to pay fee. For this, we try to remove our problem. And also, we experience psychotherapy. With this training analysis, we can understand the patient when
영어도 좀 잘하시는.
is there any problem? Do I sound good?
네, 그냥 계속 하십시오.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can understand. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Through training analysis, we can overcome our problem or limitation, and we can understand our future patients well. And the second thing is supervision. Supervision with our cases. Supervision has two advantages. One is if our problem remains, we can recognize and solve it with the guide of a supervisor. And the second advantage is to learn from supervisors' full experience. And the seminar attending is to present our cases and hear other presentations, cases, and theory study. After 12 years of psychotherapy learning and practice, I understood and I realized what psychotherapy works, how psychotherapy works, and what to do it. So I decided to come back to Buddhism. So first I learned Sanskrit and Pali to read the original text. It takes 2.5 years. First Sanskrit and next and then Pali. From 2002, I read the Nikaya in Pali. And by chance, I read Upandita Sayadaw in Myanmar's book, In This Very Life. That book was so good, and I was so impressed with his book. He taught that by observing our mind and body moment by moment, we can realize the three characteristics of existence: impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Based on Nikayas and their commentaries. So I was so interested in his teaching because I lost my way to study Buddhism after my first teacher's death. So I continued to read other books related to his book. After reading several books, I decided to experience sati, mindfulness meditation. So in 2003, I went to Myanmar, Chamme Center in Yangon, 4 months as a bhikkhu, very short time bhikkhu. I tried to do my best in practice. So even in my own way, I realized impermanence, suffering, and non-self. And also, by observing my body and mind moment by moment, I understood the properties of the body and mind. It helped me so much to understand what I am and why my patients get mentally ill and how they can regain their mental health. So I want to explain more. According to my observation, the body has two types of properties. The first is that the body is actively engaged in life activities according to conditions. the nature of life activities is neutral, not positive, not negative, just neutral, like weather. The second property is that the body is being still. Much like a sack, it does not move itself. The mind functions on these two properties of the body in two ways. The first is mind reacting to life activities in the three ways of positive, negative, and neutral. We are affected by the reaction. Positive reaction, we can make us feel good. Negative reaction makes us feeling not good. The second property is that the mind moves the body. We can understand through observation. We can understand this through the observation. The observation is two. One observation is through mindfulness meditation, such as walking meditation. When we observe our movement or walking of the leg, we can realize the intention carries the leg. The second way of understanding is through the eye of wisdom attained by samadhi or concentration. With eye of wisdom, we can see ultimate materiality and mentality. When we make an intention to walk, materiality made by the mind are generated, and the mind-born materiality makes us walk. You can see with the practice of samatha. If such the relationship between the body and mind, the mind is important. It is not easy to understand. Yeah. The mind moves based on two principles. The first is the mind is always turned toward an object, goes towards an object. When the mind goes toward an object, it can only be at one object, not two objects at a time. The second is that when the mind continues to go towards a certain direction, certain object, it will create a pathway toward that direction. The second principle is very important to understand mentally ill patients. When we face the difficult situation, we try to solve the situation. While we do to solve our problem, most people tend to think consistently that don't help solve the problem. Usually the past and the future. So if when they continue, when their mind continues to go to a certain direction, a pathway towards that direction was made. So it leads to a mentally unhealthy state. I meditated for a month, and after coming back to Korea, I continued my practice. I tried to focus on the present all day long, and I observed what happened to my mind and body. So I realized many things, and I understood the property of mental activities such as thoughts, will, emotion, perception. It helped me so much, and I had confidence in treating patients. My suffering decreased so much, and my ability as a psychotherapist increased so much. But it has some limitations. When I read the four Nikayas, I realized that the limitations of my practices until then. I read the four Nikayas with some purpose. First one is what Buddha experienced, and what is the main teachings of the Buddha. And the second is Buddhism can be psychology or psychotherapy. And the third is to confirm my first teacher's saying. When he taught unique teaching, taught unique things, different from ordinary, in a sense, interpretation of the Buddha's teaching. I asked, where are your teachings? He answered, his teachings are in the Nikaya written in Pali. So I decided I learn Pali and I will read Nikaya and to confirm my teacher's saying. The result of reading Nikaya was so satisfactory to me. The main teachings of the Buddha in early Buddhism, according to my understanding, is to break free from samsara, transmigration. But I had not seen the form of samsara and the mechanism of samsara, which means I didn't see my past lives. And also in four Nikayas, samadhi or jhana was mentioned frequently, but I had not yet experienced it. So I searched the way to overcome this limitation. Finally, I found the samatha and the vipassana meditation in the PAOK tradition. So I first tried on samatha and vipassana meditation in the PAO tradition in 2009 and failed, even though I experienced or developed the first jhana. I spent 3 months in Malaysian Forest Temple for 3 years with the guidance of Pauk Sayadaw. At the end of the retreat, I asked Pauk Sayadaw where I stand. He answered, first jhana. But I couldn't move further beyond the first jhana, so I gave up. I thought at that time, how tradition meditation is not good for lay people. I came back to normal life as a psychiatrist and read the nearly rest of Nikayas, some part of Vinaya, and Pauk Sayadaw's book, Knowing and Seeing. When I read Knowing and Seeing, because I have read the Nikayas and the experience of the first jhana, I could understand what he said, what he wrote in Knowing and Seeing. I thought Pauk Sayadaw, the teaching in Knowing and Seeing has was without any fault, and his teaching is full accordance with the Buddha's teaching. So I had strong belief in his teaching. According to my understanding, the samatha and the vipassana meditation in Pauk tradition focuses on truly knowing and seeing the Four Noble Truths. The Noble Truths are the most important of the teachings of the Buddha. The Four Noble Truths are Noble Truth of suffering, Noble Truth of origin, Noble Truth of cessation, Noble Truth of path. According to my understanding, Pauk tradition meditation is focusing on knowing and seeing the Four Noble Truths. The first noble truth is noble truth of suffering. In the sutta, the Buddha mentioned the first 7 sufferings, such as birth, aging, death, and etc. After mentioning 7 sufferings, the Buddha said, in short, the 5 aggregates of clinging is suffering. It means the 5 aggregates of clinging is the base, the core to experience other sufferings. Without the 5 aggregates of clinging, we cannot have suffering. So if we know and see the 5 aggregates of clinging, we to know and see the noble truth of suffering. The 5 aggregates of clinging consist of ultimate materiality and mentality. So, after developing concentration and get eye of wisdom, we can see ultimate materiality and mentality. It is to know and to see the noble truth of suffering. It makes sense. Knowing the second noble truth of origin, Buddha mentioned in 2 ways. One is craving. The other is 12 links of dependent origination. Craving is also a part of 12 links of dependent origination. After we developed samadhi, we can see past and future lives, and we can discern 12 links of dependent origination. That is to know and see the noble of origin. Experiencing Nibbana as our meditation deepens is to know and see the noble truth of cessation. Buddha mentioned the noble truth of a path, that is the noble eightfold path. Eightfold path can be categorized into 3 trainings: morality, concentration, and wisdom. While we practice samatha and vipassana in the PAO tradition, we observe morality, cultivate concentration, and practice vipassana or wisdom, that is to know and see the noble truth of path. So with the steadfast confidence in PAO tradition meditation, I closed my clinic door and tried secondary on samatha and vipassana meditation in the PAO tradition in 2013. And in my own way succeeded in 2014, even though it was not complete, not perfect. PAO meditation consists of developing concentration or jhana, and then materiality meditation, and then mentality meditation, and then meditation on dependent origination, and then vipassana meditation. In a sense, in PAO tradition, concentration is the cornerstone of all meditation. I think with concentration, we can get eye of wisdom. With eye of wisdom, we can see ultimate materiality and mentality. So concentration is very important in PAO meditation. In Buddhaghosa's Visuddhimagga, path of purification, there are 40 subjects of samatha meditation. All of these lead lead as far as the attainment of excess concentration. Some also lead to the first jhana, some to the third jhana, some to the fourth jhana, and some to the immaterial jhana. Samatha in the PAOK tradition can make practitioners develop concentrations or jhanas through the at least 24 subjects of samatha meditation. Because in this period, we cannot approach to the dead body. So there are 10 subjects of samatha are changing appearance of a dead body. So we cannot practice 10 subjects of that kind of meditation. And also, if we get concentration or samadhi through 24 subjects of samatha meditation, if we want to experience other subjects of samatha meditation in Visuddhimagga, we can, you can practice easily. Maybe that's why in PAOK Center, 24 subjects of samatha meditation practice. There are two important suttas about the importance of concentration. One is the sutta on what purpose in the Anguttara Nikaya. Yeah, in 10 Dhammas. There, Venerable Ananda asked the Buddha, "And what, Bhante, is the purpose and the benefit of concentration?" The Buddha replies, "The purpose and the benefit of concentration is the knowledge and the vision of things as they really are." I understand we can get concentration. We have the instrument or the way to see, to know, and to see things as they really are. I think the instrument is eye of wisdom. The other is the discourse on concentration. In Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha said, "Bhikkhus, develop concentration. One who is concentrated knows and sees the Four Noble Truths as they really are." In a sense, PAOK tradition meditation is based on this sutta. Because of time constraint, I will explain how develop jhana with only an example of anapanasati in detail. To explain all the jhana or samadhi with the subjects of samatha needs so much time. Anapanasati is the practice of focusing the mind on the in-breath and out-breath. For Anapanasati, the Buddha said, and in many suttas, Buddha said as follows. Breathing in long, he understands, I breathe in long. Or breathing out long, he understands, I breathe out long. Breathing in short, he understands, I breathe in short. Or breathing out short, he understands, I breathe out short. Until this, only observe, but next time trains. He trains thus. From this part, I modified the Pali Kaya into breath. The commentary says this way, and Pauk Sayadaw says this way. He trains thus, I shall breathe in, experiencing the whole breath. He trains out, I shall breathe out, experiencing the whole breath. He trains thus, I shall breathe in, making the breath subtle. He trains thus, I shall breathe out, making the breath subtle. I think among these four stages, long, short, whole breath, subtle, there is no particular order for the first two stages. We simply observe the breath comfortably without any agitation, regardless of what kind of breath it is. If we faithfully and naturally practice the first two stages in this way, we can proceed to the third stage. The third stage is to observe whole breath, not missing any breath. If we faithfully and naturally practice the third stage, we lead to the fourth stage, subtle breath. Even though the Buddha mentioned only subtle breath, Pauk Sayadaw said in his book, The Path to Nibbana, the fourth stage of the subtle breath includes everything from the subtle breath to the nimitta up to the jhanas. It is a very practical explanation, I think. Nimitta is the unification of the breath and the light. Breath and light are together. To enter jhana, we have to pass a stage, reach a stage where we effortlessly concentrate on the breath or light, which means automatic concentration. In 2009, I practiced samatha in Malaysian Forest Temple. One day, in sitting, I realized the light pulled me. It was so interesting and the first experiencing thing, so I reported to Pauk Sayadaw. He said, each absorption. From now on, you sit for 3 hours. Folks, usually in English literature, absorption means jhana, but Pauk Sayadaw said two things. One is absorption and the full absorption. Full absorption. To Pauk Sayadaw, full absorption is jhana. Once we enter the state of the first jhana, we check the 5 factors of the first jhana. Each jhana has factors. The 5 factors of the first jhana are initial application, sustained application, joy, happiness, and concentration. Once we are certain that we developed a certain jhana, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, we cultivate the 5 mastery of the jhana. I think to cultivate 5 mastery of the jhana is a strong point in Pauk tradition. These are the ability to enter the jhana whenever we want, stay in the jhana as long as we want, exit the jhana whenever we want, turn our mind to the factors of the jhana and examine the factors of the jhana. Once we have these kinds of ability for the jhana, we can say that we have stably entered the jhana. Five mastery is for any jhanas, first, second, third, immaterial jhanas. Yeah, I want to the rest of the subject of samatha meditation, which I experienced because of time constraint. I only name I only mentioned the name. The 32, this is the order of practice. The 32 constituent parts of the body. We can see 32 constituent parts of the body with the eye closed. 10 kashinas, the 4 immaterial jhanas that are boundless space, boundless consciousness, nothingness, neither perception nor non-perception. The 4 protective meditation that are loving kindness, recollection of the Buddha, meditation of foulness, recollection of death, and the 4 sublime abidings that are loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. After samatha meditation, we move to materiality meditation. To do materiality meditation, we first practice the 4 elements meditation. 4 elements is earth, water, fire, wind. When we practice the 4 elements meditation, we can see ultimate materiality and then proceed to meditation on materiality. Through meditation on materiality, we can see 18 concrete materiality that are earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, color, smell, taste, nutrient, sound, eye sensitivity, tongue sensitivity, body sensitivity, heart base, femininity, masculinity, life faculty, and the 10 non-concrete materiality. In a sense, concrete materiality is a phenomenon made by concrete materiality that are element of space, bodily intimation. Body intimation means body movement. Vocal intimation means sound. Lightness, malleabilities, malleability is softness, wildness, productivity, production, continuity, decay, impermanence. And also we can see gamma-born material. Gamma-born material means materiality made by gamma. Gamma means past lives gamma. Among materiality, there are gamma-born materiality. I think important materiality is come from gamma, eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity, heart base, femininity, masculinity, life faculty, aura, karma-born materiality, mind-born materiality. By mind-born materiality, we can move our body and make a sound. Temperature-born materiality and nutrient-born materiality. Most people only understand nutrient-born materiality, but there are 3 other materiality. Through materiality meditation, we can understand ourselves exactly. And after materiality meditation, we move to mentality meditation. As materiality meditation, mentality meditation also makes us know ourselves exactly. Mentality is composed of consciousness and mental factors. And we observe during mentality meditation, observe them one by one. We can see the cognitive process. There are 2 types of the cognitive process that are 5-door cognitive process, such as eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind-door cognitive process. We can see the cognitive process that occurs when consciousness is wholesome with the wise attention. And the cognitive process that occurs when consciousness is unwholesome with unwise attention. Attention is very important to contact the object. Depending on attention, wholesome and unwholesome consciousness arise. After mentality meditation, we move to meditation on dependent origination. For meditation on dependent origination, we see our 6 past lives and the future lives until the end of rebirth. We discern how the past life and the present life are connected, and the present life and the future life are connected. It is to make long story short, meditation on dependent origination is very complex. So meditation on dependent origination is not easy, even though we get the concentration. Now I speak very simply. When there is a phenomenon in the body and mind at present, we discern the cause of it. By meditation on dependent origination, we realize that everything follows the law of causality. This fact can be utilized in Buddhist psychotherapy. After meditation on dependent origination, we move to Vipassana meditation. Vipassana meditation is observing the characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and the non-self of the ultimate materiality and the consciousness, mental factors, and the dependent origination. We practice vipassana by starting with materiality. We discern impermanence, suffering, and the non-self of the materiality. For example, earth element, water element, fire element, and wind element. Once sufficient vipassana on materiality has been achieved, we then practice vipassana on consciousness, that is, observing the materiality. We see consciousness arise and disappear for a brief time. And through this, one can discern characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and the non-self of consciousness, that is, observing materiality. Then we practice vipassana on consciousness, that is, observing the consciousness. By continually observing consciousness, we see the continual phenomenon of consciousness disappearing until consciousness is in a state where it only appears. I did the vipassana meditation at this point. There are many other stages of vipassana, but for my personal reason, I stopped here. Even though I didn't experience it, I think I continue vipassana meditation, I will experience the next stages. My presentation is composed of two main parts. One part is my experience of Buddhist meditation. This is first part. Next part is my experience of Buddhist psychotherapy. If you have some questions about Buddhist meditation, you can ask your question to me. It is, I think, a proper time to pause for questions.
Thank you very much.
If
Dr.
there is
Jian.
no, I
Yeah.
will move to another part.
So any questions from the audience?
Yeah, there is a chatting. No, yeah,
No
there is no question,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please continue your second part, Dr. Jian. Yeah.
Okay. I think to ask a question is not easy because of language problem and the content problem. So I move to the second part of Buddhist psychotherapy. I want to talk about establishing my own system of Buddhist psychotherapy. I think there are many people who are interested in Buddhist psychotherapy, but their background are various. So some people approach with Zen meditation, and some people with other background of Buddhism. In my case, the background of Buddhist psychotherapy is early Buddhism. From the time I realized that Buddhism contained therapeutic elements in 1985 to the establishment of any Buddhist my Buddhist psychotherapy system in 2014, I made a rule as follows. It can be helpful for develop their Buddhist psychotherapy. It is very practical. When I studied and practiced Buddhism, and I was benefited from Buddhism, I examined that my experience is universal, which means that anyone can experience it. Others cannot experience except me. It is not universal, and it can be applied to in psychotherapy. If so, I have applied it to my patients in my psychotherapy session without using Buddhist terminology, because my patients consist of Christian, Catholic, and no religion, and sometimes resisting religion. So I don't use Buddhist terms so that anyone can benefit from it. But if patients believe Buddhism or very familiar with Buddhism, at that time I can use Buddhist term. In 2014, as I successfully completed the Samatha and Vipassana meditation in the Pao tradition in my own way, I understood what kind of existence I am, how my body and mind are composed of, and how that function, and realized that everything follows the law of causality. All my doubt about Buddhism disappeared, and I felt that Buddhism and the psychotherapy, which I had been pursuing separately, Buddhism and the psychotherapy, there is an end. Separately, they are merging into one, a Buddhist psychotherapy, and removed. It was so interestingly, it happened interestingly in my mind. So I was able to establish my own system of Buddhist psychotherapy. Before proposing my Buddhist psychotherapy into the world, I examined thoroughly. Buddhism can be a psychotherapy. In 2026, I searched Wikipedia. At that time, there are more than 10,000 forms of psychotherapy. Any form of psychotherapy has the common element. One is they have a clear understanding of human existence, and based on understanding of human existence, they understand why human problems arise and how to resolve them. That is the common things in all form of psychotherapy. In that aspect, Buddhism itself is a complete form of psychotherapy, providing a comprehensive understanding of human existence, the origins of human problems, and how to resolve them. Moreover, this understanding is based on observations like science. Other form of psychotherapy is based on founders' speculation or experiences. Buddhism is based on complete observation. For understanding what human beings are and how their mental problems arise and how to solve them, my Buddhist psychotherapy does not need the help of other psychology or psychotherapy. It is a very important point. People see Freud's psychoanalysis, which emerged in the early 1900s, as the beginning of scientific psychotherapy. But I say with confidence that the first scientific psychotherapy is Buddhism, founded by the Buddha 2,600 years ago. Through observation, the Buddha fully understood what kind of beings humans are. Based on this observation, he found a complete resolution to the various forms of suffering that humans endure, and set forth a specific method for this. Whoever fully follows the path that the Buddha set forth is able to be completely free from suffering. Without suffering, mental problems cannot arise. In my Buddhist psychotherapy, there are three principles. The first is knowing the nature of the body and mind, macroscopically and microscopically. The second is understanding the principles by which the world operates. The third is living moment by moment with wisdom as we go through the world. With wisdom, we do not things that harm ourselves. Without wisdom, we do something that harm ourselves. This is a very important part in Buddhist psychotherapy. Consciousness arises in us moment by moment. There are two kinds of consciousness, wholesome and unwholesome. Wholesome consciousness arises when the object is directed with wise attention. Wholesome consciousness are those that arise together with two or three wholesome roots, non-greed, non-hatred, and wisdom. Or simply speaking, it is the state to concentrate on the present in order to know what we are. With the wholesome consciousness, when wholesome consciousness arises, it leads to three positive things. Beneficial substance. I already said the mind makes substance materiality. So with wholesome consciousness, there are beneficial materiality by the mind. And the second is beneficial mental stage. Wholesome consciousness itself is a beneficial mental stage. And beneficial results in the present life and the future lives according to the law of karma. Unwholesome consciousness arises when the object unwholesome consciousness arises when the object is directed with foolish attention, which is paying attention with greed, hatred, and ignorance. Unwholesome consciousness also leads to three negative things: unbeneficial substance, unbeneficial mental states, unbeneficial results. According to Buddhist psychotherapy, an unhealthy mental state is the result of the accumulation of unwholesome consciousness. To have a healthy mental state, wholesome consciousness must be accumulated. So we have to generate wholesome consciousness moment by moment. We try to do. In Buddhist psychotherapy, it is highly valued to see things accurately. When something happens, there is always a sufficient reason for it to happen, and it occurs according to the law of causality. Therefore, by understanding why something has happened, one can work on it to resolve the problem. Sometimes we need to need experimentation to exact the cause of the phenomenon. At that time, if we don't know, I don't know is very important. If we don't know, we can stop. If we think wrongly, we can proceed with the wrong judgment or thought. When observing the occurrence of mental problems, there is always distress or suffering prior to the emergence of mental problems. We have to differentiate suffering and mental problems. Suffering or distress cannot avoid because of our nature of existence. But if we deal with suffering or distress in the right way, the suffering or distress cannot lead to mental problems. Mental problems arise from mishandling this distress or suffering. It is important not to worsen the mental problem when it occurs. Usually, people worsen their problems. They have to stop it. By examining why the distress or suffering arises before the occurrence of a mental problem, how one has attempted to solve the distress or suffering in right way or wrong way. The therapist can assist in resolving their problems in the right way. Everything happens for a reason, and it is not necessarily wrong. In such situations, it is beneficial to view the event as an opportunity to learn about oneself, others, and the world, turning it into a positive experience and a catalyst for personal growth. We always experience thought and emotions arising. At that moment, people usually do one of two things: suppress them or become influenced by them. Neither or of these approaches is recommended. If we observe closely, thoughts and emotions naturally arise based on certain conditions up until that moment. It is a natural phenomenon. Reaction to it is very important. Therefore, when thoughts and emotions arise, instead of suppressing or being influenced by them, we acknowledge that they have emerged due to the conditions, and we choose to engage in actions that are beneficial for ourselves. It is a healthy response. Anxiety and depression that we feel are the result of what we see, which means the result of a viewpoint toward the object. Therefore, in order to remove anxiety and depression, our perception or viewpoint must change. Anxiety often occurs when our minds are focused on the future, expecting better things to happen. When this happens, we remind ourselves that we do not know what will happen in the future. The future is the country where we never traveled. And bring our focus back to the present moment, which alleviate anxiety. In my clinic, when a patient said they suffer anxiety, at that time they usually go to the future. At that time, I said to them, we don't know about the future, and stop the future and return to the present and do whatever they can do. Depression often occurs when our current lives are unsatisfactory and we desire to live in a life that we cannot. In this case, when we look closely, we may find an inevitable reason why our current lives are the way they are. And by changing this inherent reason, we can change our current lives. Additionally, it is important to remember that our current lives are still better than lives that are even worse. So maintain this state. Regardless of the circumstances, everything that has happened has occurred due to the law of causality. It is a very important point. At that time, by doing what we can and believing that everything we need is in doing it, we can become the best we can be. This is because when we do things with the right mindset, we can accomplish anything that we can. By training ourselves to observe and act accordingly in a situation, we can live comfortably and without any difficulty. Buddhist psychotherapy involves engaging in actions that are beneficial to oneself and avoiding actions that cause harm, with the therapist providing guidance in this process. Sometimes I told my patients, when we do actions that cause harm, it is like hitting our cheek with our hands. It seems to me, yeah. My activities is, I want to talk about my activities in Buddhist psychotherapy. I am currently basically I am currently seeing patients in Buddhist psychotherapy. And since September last year, I have been recording YouTube videos where I answer questions about Buddhist psychotherapy from a professional psychotherapist. One episode lasts around 35 minutes. The series, some episodes is on the air on YouTube. The series consists of a total of about 180 episodes. And after completion, I plan to publish a book based on those dialogues. I will then create a manual for self-study of Buddhist psychotherapy, guided by those dialogues. Usually one episode contains around 4 questions and my answers. I think any question we can imagine are there. So it can be very helpful for the suffering human beings. I aim to help individuals grasp the 3 principles of Buddhist psychotherapy and apply them in their living. I am currently developing a program for this purpose. Once the program is completed, I plan to promote it in both Korean and English. And the program will be called I, World, and Wisdom. I created this name based on 3 principles of my Buddhist psychotherapy. As I said before, the first is to know properties of our body and mind. It is about our existence. The second is the principle of world operation. And the third is we live with them. So I created this name. This is the end of my lecture. If you have a question, give me your question.
I have a question. May I have a time, please? May I start? Hello?
Hello?
Ah, can you hear me?
Your voice loud, but I can hear your voice. It is interesting.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
can you
Why
hear
does
me?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you for your profound lecture, Dr. Zhen, and I'm personally really honored to be invited to this session. My question is about attention, and I think it's important for meditation and also living in this secular human society. So here are my small two questions. Firstly, are there any elements that make wholesome or beneficial attention? And second, how can lay people develop this wholesome attention? Thank you.
Yeah, it is a very good question.
Thank you.
Wholesome consciousness arises with the wise attention.
Wise attention.
We can say wide attention in various aspects. According to Pao, according to the Pao meditation, when I practice wholesome and unwholesome consciousness, it is very complex, but I want to explain it first. In Pao meditation, we alternate wholesome and unwholesome. When I arise wholesome consciousness, I feel comfortable and good. But when I generate unwholesome consciousness, I feel not good. So I don't want to do it, but it's my task. So at that time, I do that. After practice, I try to wholesome consciousness with wise attention. In to to make wise attention, there are when attention begins contacting objects. Objects can be ultimate material and mind. So to have wise attention, we have recognize or discern ultimate materiality as ultimate materiality. If you see cake, when you think this is a delicious cake, it is unwise attention. This is the mixture of materiality, mainly nutrients. So wise attention is paying attention to the object to know ultimate materiality as ultimate materiality. And to know consciousness as a consciousness, to know mental factors as mental factors. Anger is not ultimate mentality. Now I'm angry. It is, in a sense, not wise attention.
So you mean in order to have wise attention, we should have
Yeah.
at least know the list of the ultimate element,
Yes, you are
materiality
right.
and
Yeah.
mentality.
By through your practice or study Abhidhamma, with the full confidence. Yeah, and also wise attention arises when we see something as impermanence and the suffering and the non-self. And non-attractive.
Mm.
It is very complex, so I suggest a very simple way. If you concentrated on the present with a wholesome object, such as knowing yourself, it is wise attention, and wholesome consciousness can arise. So I think from awakening to falling asleep, you maintain focusing on the present. You are in the wholesome state.
Mhm.
Do you understand?
Yes, it's understood, and what you said answers both of my questions, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you for your profound explanation, and my question is done here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Another question.
So, Dr. Teh, yeah, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, may I ask Professor? When someone is very, very angry and the intense level of the angry and out of control, can we use the term total unconsciousness? I'd like to know the definition from the psychological perspective. Thank you so much.
Yeah. When we are so angry with others, I recommend escape from them because anger is like a bomb to explode, to destroy everything. So we have to avoid that situation. And also, when think reasonably, anger arises based on ignorance. When something happens, there is a definite reason for the thing to happen. Nothing wrong. Because we don't see that thing in right way. We think that is wrong, that is not good. Yeah. So if we see wisely what happened in front of me, it is a good time for learning about myself, others, and the world. So I just teach my patients, when you are angry, you see wrongly. Yeah.
And my
If-
question,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I'd like to know, is it the right choice of the vocabulary as a total unconsciousness, the definitions? Thank you.
Yeah, maybe it is a kind of mental mechanism to not encounter the reality, maybe. Yeah. Maybe total unconsciousness makes them not angry, but it is not the right way to recommend. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We have
Thank you.
a question. We have a question in a chat box. Venerable Nandasamy,
Yeah.
would you like to ask by yourself, or should I read yours?
Yeah, please, could you please read the question for me? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so the question is, may I ask, how do you normally motivate your clients for the change and living with wisdom moment by moment through the Buddhist psychotherapy principles? Thank you.
Yeah. I think timing is very important to say to patients. We choose the proper timing. Even though therapists know everything in the beginning of treatment, we wait to choose proper timing. So, in proper timing, sometimes I explain we are in suffering condition after we are born from the mother. After borning, we are in a sense cast in the world. So we are surrounded many things. They affect us. We are only one. Others are many. Among them, humans are important. Other humans move according to their needs, their beliefs. They don't care about ourselves. So in that process, we can get suffering or distress. It is a natural thing. And besides human beings, animals can affect us. In Korea, dogs and cats become the family members. And also, invisible virus and bacteria can affect us. And weather. I heard Myanmar, the weather of Myanmar is so high. We cannot we cannot avoid those things. So we have to make a fundamental solution. I seldomly see people try to do fundamental way. They only, when suffering comes, they did their own way. It's succeeded. Their suffering decrease. It fails. Their sufferings are large. I think there are two ways to avoid suffering. One is to think accurately. For example, we see market, we see other beings. Other beings moved according to their mind. To see others' mind, it is to see correctly, but it is not easy. In that case, don't know is very important. And when I don't know and see the other's mind or other phenomenon in the world, not attach our emotions, thinkings, judgment, don't attach. Just see to know exactly. Our consciousness has the ability to see. With some attached emotion, ideology, or something, we cannot see. Without them, we can see as they prepared for seeing. I don't know is very important. The other thing is to control our mind. As I said before in my lecture, any thoughts and emotions arising in our mind, at that time, we tend to one of two, suppress or influenced by them. We don't do two things. we acknowledge this happens according to the law. And at that time, we can focus on the present and do something helpful for us. Yeah, it is very important. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So
Thank
we
you
have
so much.
one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we have many different participants from different places. Yeah, some are students, in SSBU, Shan State Buddhist University in Myanmar, and some are from Sri Lanka, also our teacher in Sri Lanka, and some are from Korea, I see, and some are from Hungary with me and the other meditators here. So yeah, thank you. So we have one more question from the Venerable Siddhartha from Sri Lanka. Bante, could you please
Yes.
ask your question?
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Sally. Doctor, as I came to know, you have a lot of experience of giving advices and as a psychotherapist. So I would like to know, how do you approach to the patients, those who are non-Buddhist and those who are non-religious and those who hate the religions? So how do you take the approach for those patients?
Yeah, it is a very good question. They come to me because they have a suffering in their lives. My job is to solve that suffering. So, with wisdom from Buddhism, I can do it. I don't use any terminology of Buddhism. First of all, we have to understand them in exact way. We need empathy, and we try to see the situation accurately. So, as I told before, timing is very important. First of all, we see accurately in their situation and make them stop things that cause harm, such as negative thoughts and actions which is not accordance with the reality. Yeah, well, that's all. Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
May I ask one question?
Okay, Venerable Sumana, yeah, he is our second year MA student. Yeah, please, Bante.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor, for your lecture today. So my question is that you also talking about the changing perception, right? So my question is, are you saying that like changing perception is the core principle of psychotherapy, or is this the principle that you draw it from Buddhism?
Come again, please.
Yeah, so you talk about changing perception, right? So in order to remove anxiety and depression, we must change our perceptions, how we perceive the world, right? So this is the principle, whether you draw it from Buddhist psychotherapy, or it is already exist in the psychotherapy.
I don't understand exactly what you said.
Okay, the question is that you suggested to change the perception. So that type of method is already existed in the psychotherapy in the West, or only in the Buddhist psychotherapy?
I think Thank you for Dhamma Terry. I think Buddhist psychotherapy based on early Buddhism has a strong point because it gives us the ability to see ultimate reality. To me, Western cognitive therapy is based on conventional perception. So they think because of perception, they feel depression. But before perception, that is how they it is sound similar, but difference between Buddhist approach and cognitive therapy approach. Buddhist approach in Buddha's teaching, for 1 second, 10 maybe just a moment. But more than for a very brief 1 second, mental activity arise more than 100 billion mental activities. So, if with this concept, we can do we can do from the beginning of unwholesome consciousness. In a sense, when I think angry is the result of how they see others. We change the way we see, we can change the mental activities. Do you understand? Yeah, I think Buddhist psychotherapy is the first, in the forefront of battery with mental problem. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
it needs meditation or thorough studying of Abhidhamma or something.
Okay, so we have a few questions in the chat box. Okay, so due to the time constraint, may I stop here, the question and answer? Okay, may I read the questions in the chat box? Okay, we have about 3 questions in the chat box. Okay, may I ask a question of which meditation practice is more effective in your own system of psychotherapy out of variant meditation practices from Pa'al you have mentioned today? Thanks. So this is from Seali Teja. She is a MA graduate from SSBU.
I need both. Meditation is necessary for understanding what really we are. Mindfulness meditation and samatha meditation, like modern physics and classic physics. Through 2 observations by observe conventional reality and ultimate reality, we can see our existence exactly. Only one way of conventional observation is not enough, I think. Yeah, both practice of conventional way and the ultimate way. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we have another question from our first year MA student, Venerable Vimala. So when the Buddha's teachings being applied to the field of psychotherapy, according to your experience, how do you treat your patients to take meditation, or do you just simply advise them the Buddha's teaching?
Sometimes in my clinic, I teach how to meditate and how to control their negative thoughts. And sometimes I introduce meditation center according to their needs. And sometimes I recommend them to read the Buddhist sutra. According to their needs and states, I recommend many things. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we have another similar question from Tehan. So I won't read again. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jion. And thank you for your time and lecture. It's really fruitful and precious lecture. And it shows about your practice, meditation practice and experience in Pa'ao tradition. And you talk about about your Buddhist psychotherapy programs and what you are doing right now in Korea. So it is really precious contribution to the Buddhism. So I really appreciate on your work and all your wisdom and all your practice. And now we have different participants. Most our students from our university. Yeah, so I hope they also like your lecture today and they will get a lot of knowledge from you. So thank you very much. And I hope you can give us more lectures in the future like this precious lecture. So any one or two students, would you like to say any thanking words to Dr. Jion? Please.
Yes, I would like to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I have read your book. I just finished recently. It's really a great book. So then I'm also really interested in studying the Buddhist psychotherapy. So this book gave me a lot of wisdom and also insight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to say about my book. Last year, that book was translated into German. Yeah. And I hope Buddhist psychotherapy will become the major psychotherapy in the future. We, all the people attending this seminar will do their best. The time will be shortened.
Okay, so thank you very much. So we are, I think it's running out, it's exact time, 2 hours, really. So, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jion. And yeah, we really thank for your time and kind contribution and the precious lecture. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sadhu.
Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you so much, Siaji. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 예, 감사합니다. Thank you for all to attend my lecture. It became good opportunity to share with foreign colleagues. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I
Well,
think
one more.
are
We
you
have
going to
our
share PowerPoints?
we have our
Are you going to-
pro-rector Seado also joining, Venerable Wichita Bipala. Pompo, Venerable Wichita Bipala, yeah, could you please say something to Dr. Jian? He is our pro-rector Seado, pro-rector of our university and also the head of
Dean, you mean Dean? Dean.
No, he's the rector, pro-rector, is the second rector.
Actually,
Yeah.
Away is the
Yeah.
assistant to the rector,
Yeah.
founder of this university. I'm the
Founder. Yeah.
yes, not the founder, the pro-mentee, the assistant to him. So since the beginning, I follow and his philosophy and the overview and the how to run this university from the start and like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is so wonderful. So we are so grateful to have you, Professor. So your book also really in not only these for the learner and scholar and also for the meditator is so benefits. I read it from many times, your first book, and I'm also the old students of the outdoor tradition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, we have to see you again and again. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a nice day. Yeah, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.